Okay, here's one of these stories that concerns rumors, of course, but it's also kind of the best guess of things that just make sense, and so it's highly likely, depending on how things turn out for Snyder Cut and how it performs for HBO Max. It stands to reason that, yes, they would want Zack Snyder to pursue that story further, depending on how much it's bringing into them. So Mikey Sutton says he's hearing this from his sources, and I'm sure, yeah, it makes sense. It's not like it's a done deal. It's already ready to go no matter what. You can't do it like that, because what if this thing bombs terribly, and then you just got to move on, try to find something else to become the big, hyped thing, which I have no idea what that could be for HBO Max to draw in people beyond what it already has. In subscriber stability, because they're betting and banking an awful lot on HBO Max. AT&T, they want to see a trilogy, depending on how this performs, and that would stand to reason for what the original storyline was to be. There was supposed to be a Justice League 1, Justice League 2, and Justice League 3. So Justice League 2, they would go up against Darkseid and lose, in Justice League 3. Ultimately, they would win. And so that story could still be spelled out across, different seasons, if you will, of miniseries. This would not be films as it was originally intended, but already Snyder Cut will be delivered as a 4-part limited series. And so depending on how that performs, then you got Justice League 2, which may be 4 or however many episodes they want. Who knows? It might be more than that after this. This is all very new territory and experimental to break up a film like that and turn it into a series. But it's all very doable, and it fits in with the current situation. As what the lockdown has done, we don't really know what future the theaters will have, if any. And so, of course, their decision for Wonder Woman 84 to go to theaters, it might be, if there's a third Wonder Woman, it will be on HBO Max rather than theaters. So, there's going to be some theater release, but for the most part, on Christmas Day, Wonder Woman will be on HBO Max, which almost finds itself as being a precursor to Snyder Cut at this point as it goes. But the obvious thing is in the article goes here about they want a Stranger Things and a Mandalorian. Mandalorian is burdened with holding up Star Wars for Disney Plus, and what it really needed to be was a fine, good show to draw in people to Disney Plus, and Disney Plus needs their Marvel shows to get off the ground for that as well. And once they get rolling, that should work for them, provided they don't, poop the bed on those. Mandalorian is a good show. It's not a great show, and I think the idea that it's going to save Star Wars is just too high of a thing for it to achieve. Over time, it might achieve something like that will keep Star Wars afloat, but from my point of view, it's too late, and I don't think it can ever come back to where it was. But it can still be a successful franchise, and that makes money. Right now, it really isn't. But Mandalorian is all they've got, and already there's people getting turned off by it, and that's unfortunate. But I think it's a good show. It's worth someone's investment of time and money to see. But that's my opinion. Justice League follow-ups to Snyder Cut would make sense, and it could expand on the DCEU, and I'm wondering where this goes when the plan was for movies, and now it might be, would Black Adam is it going to be a theatrical release? I don't know. The Flash, will that be? Will the Shazam follow-ups be Aquaman and all that stuff? Might get reoriented to be just other maybe miniseries on HBO Max. It's like you get Justice League Snyder Cut, and then the next one is whatever a film they have in the hopper that could actually be converted to a series, or even just a film, a 2-hour special film for HBO Max, and you tune in and it can, there's more of these characters that exist in this same universe. So they want a Game of Thrones. They've been chasing that after Game of Thrones pooped the bed. Westworld seemed like would be the successor, but then it pooped the bed. So here comes Snyder Cut, which was largely already done. So they had Zack Snyder put that together and convert it to this series, and so we're off to the races for that goes. And Zack Snyder has been given a lot of freedom on this, so you're really going to see the true version that he always intended for this. And talking that it could be an R-rated version of it, of course, yeah, that's what he wants. I specifically liked a lot of they of course, Ben Affleck, I think, it's become more popular as Batman than before, when everybody was criticizing it and saying he ruined Daredevil, and all, which he really didn't. It wasn't his fault that it was a bad movie, but he did a very good job as Batman, and as far as I'm concerned, he's probably the best they've had. I know people had problems with the version of it and the criteria that was there, but I don't. It's to me, it's clear within the film that he's a broken man and beaten down, and his redemption comes in Superman's example, and that's what the story is. So going forward, maybe he'll be more close to the comic book Batman. He's the closest to the comic book Batman, at least in modern comic book Batman, that you've ever seen in any of the films. So yeah, I would like to see more of him that way. I would also like to see him get his own little side series that follows up on the story. And Zack Snyder has teased out new images of Deathstroke, so he will be in the Snyder Cut. But will that help to push Ben Affleck into taking that story up again and doing his own HBO Max project there? But it's also said that apparently the AT&T people and whatever Warner people had this desire to see Henry Cavill's Superman meet up with Robert Pattinson's Dark Knight. So it's possible they're still laying the groundwork for when Ben Affleck's story of his Batman comes to an end, which, spoiler, at least in the original leaks of what the plot was supposed to be, maybe they'll change that around. Batman does not survive the Justice League trilogy. So then you have the Flash and his Flashpoint thing, which could warp and change the continuity of the DCEU as the original Flashpoint did. So possibly they'll merge the universes, and suddenly Robert Pattinson will be the Batman of that universe. And then they'll have a world's finest film where Henry Cavill's Superman meets him. And possibly that could happen. So yeah, it makes sense. So I totally believe all of this because it makes perfect sense, provided it performs well, and that's all that ever matters. So Snyder, I think, is being given more of a chance than he ever did originally. It seems the interference is to a minimal. It seems like all the interference would have been was like, can you edit this into a miniseries? He said yes. There you go. And the rest of it appears to be his idea. So yeah, it's totally on him if everybody rejects this or that. A lot of people already have rejected his darker and more adult themes in the superhero stories that he has done. So I guess they won't be any happier with that. But there again, I don't know that they'll like the Robert Pattinson Batman either, because that movie looks really creepy. It's like Batman meets Seven. So, although I've seen people suggest the idea that the city in Seven could be Gotham, it's never said which city it is. So there you go. I don't know. And there's always been pretty sinister, dark themes in the Batman films. If you rewatch that and look at it, yeah. There was more silliness in quite a few of them, but still. Anyway, yeah, this all sounds about right to me, and hope for the best. And I guess lately it's looking like Ryan Reynolds will not be the Green Lantern of Zack's DCEU, as it was rumored that he really wanted him to. But now it looks like Marvel is going to go forward with Deadpool, and so Ryan Reynolds will probably be too busy with that. And plus, Marvel and Disney probably doesn't want him doing another superhero character for their opposition. So he's already had success with Deadpool, so probably won't do the cameo, because I think they would want to move forward with Green Lantern. and that meaning, I guess, films. But then again, like I said, if they're going to be in the business of making a series for HBO Max, maybe because they've already got the Green Lantern Corps going, they're going to have a big budget. But I don't know. I'm getting nervous about some of the leaks they're doing about that they're worried more about superficial nonsense than they are in story and plot and character development. So I don't know. But Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart will not appear, apparently, if maybe only cameos or something, but they will not be a part of that series. So maybe there'll be a separate series. The rumor was that Jon Stewart would ultimately join the Justice League. So maybe that's what they'll do. They'll cast a Jon Stewart character. And then Hal Jordan, maybe there'll be a Hal Jordan series also. But there again, probably going to have to cast a new Hal Jordan. Anyway, here we go. Snyder Cut is coming, so hopefully it's really good and does well for HBO Max. And should that happen, we'll get a lot more of these characters and all that good stuff. Anyway, there you go. Thanks for watching and listening. Say, while you're still here, why not like and subscribe and share with your many friends? Yes. Also, check out my mini stores in the link description below. Yes, where you can get t-shirts, hats, mugs, all those goodies with my artwork on them. Oh, yeah. And head over to IndiePlanet.com and pick up a copy of my comic book, Night Night. Oh, yeah. You can also catch me at my podcast, Mr Nailsin Show, on RadioMisfits.com. And you can also watch my videos on BitChute.com and now on Rumble.com. Oh, my goodness. So many places to watch me and my stuff. Oh, yeah. And if that's not enough for you, well, you can follow me on many social media platforms and say hi to your old pal, Mr. Nailsin.